How do I learn to act as if my success is for certain when I've always doubted me? What do you say to that statement?
Yeah, it's a killer question. Well, you get to choose how you behave. To heck with your thinking. Let's say your thinking is what it is, and it's riddled with doubt. You're ravaged with doubt. You still get to choose how you behave. And you can act like you've got what it takes. You can. You can do it.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, and you can feel like I'm faking this. Oh, am I ever faking this? But
the best actors in Hollywood make a lot of money.
Exactly.
And they're playing a role.
Yeah.
They aren't that role.
That's right.
That's not who they are in their normal life, but they're playing a role, and the better you can act, the more money you can make in Hollywood.
Well, it was George Burns or someone that said something about, I won't get this precise, but it's something like authenticity is the key. If you can fake that, you got it made.
Right.
But so that's one thing, and just go against everything that's going on inside you, because most people are not going to know. But there's another thing. Manage your remembering.
What does that mean? Your memory of painful moments?
Yeah, what you go back and what you dwell on. When you go back over the years, I mean, I can go back and just like that. I can think something, and I can pull up again and again and again all these times that I've been embarrassed, I've been humiliated, I've failed, dropped the ball. I can dwell on that if I want to, but I can also go back and the times that I pulled it off, the times I did it right, I surprised myself, how good it felt when I was good to somebody else, on and on and on. So you get to dwell on whatever you want to dwell on, and we're too indiscriminate. It's kind of like these two voices we got in our head. We got a hero voice and we got a villain voice. And who are you going to give airtime to? People talk about having a coach. Well, the coach that is closest to you is the voices inside your head. You're coaching yourself all the time. And you get to decide which voice you want to hand the mic to. And the villain voice is very compelling. And he's a con artist, because so much of the time he's like that. I'm here to protect you, buddy. I'm on your side. I'm going to keep you from screwing up. I don't want you to fail. I don't want you to embarrass yourself. Just listen to me now. And so he focuses on mistakes, on your weaker points, and all the why nots. Your hero voice focuses on your strengths, your accomplishments, and so on and so on. It said we have some 50,000 thoughts a day. I don't know if that's right, but that let's just say that's the realm that we have some 50,000 thoughts a day. This kind of takes us into this whole conversation, which I think is an interesting thing to kick around, which is this whole thing about optimism versus pessimism. That's kind of what, if we want to give big labels to what we're talking about here. If you ask people, and I've asked this of crowds, keynote after keynote after keynote, training sessions and so on, how many of you in the room would say you're an optimist? And I know you would say.
Absolutely.
Your hand would be up. Well, 78% of the people in America label themselves optimists. 17% say, yeah, I'm pessimist. And maybe they're kind of even proud of it. But then there's a few percentages missing. And invariably, you'll have someone, particularly if it's a small enough group, and they'll speak up. They'll say, well, I consider myself objective.
Right.
I'm not really optimistic. Well, they're pessimistic. They're the pessimists in wolf's clothing typically. But the split really in the United States is 50-50. And so you've got 50 to 78%, you got 18% of the people that are being a little generous with themselves. And so we kind of grow up, I guess, in general, you just kind of pick up this message, this idea that you're supposed to think positive, think more positive thoughts. And you may have read about this, but I will ask crowds this, which do you think is more important? More positive thinking or less negative thinking? And I say, this is not a trick question. And I'll let them wrestle with that for a little bit. And for the group that we're talking to today, it's a very provocative question. Which is more important? Where do you get the most mileage? More positive thinking or less negative thinking? And the studies are unequivocal. It's less negative thinking. Now, the thing that gets us tangled up is that I guess pretty much all of us think of it as, okay, you've got this linear scale here, and we'll say at the high end, the good end is optimism, and at the low end is pessimism, negative thinking. Well, studies show that they're actually two different scales.
Really?
And this is just fascinating to me. Positive thinking is important. And keep it up, keep it high. But if you want to get your real knowledge, just cut down on the negative thinking. Cut it down, cut it down, cut it down. That's the villain voice. That's the critic in your head. That's the demotivator. That's the discounter. That's the one that raises the doubts. And you can shut it up. It takes practice. It takes some discipline. But people say, well, I think I'm aware of my negative thinking, but they're not. About 70% of our negative thinking goes unperceived by us. It is so embedded in our day-to-day behavior.
We're not even aware of it.
We're not even aware of it. There's several things about goal setting that I think are real key points. If you're shooting to make this kind of an exponential leap in performance, so then first it needs to be a serious stretch goal. You need to scare the horses.